From surgeries to medications, the medical field makes astounding leaps year after year. But even with cutting-edge technology and advanced medicine, one aspect of medical care has never changed: the need for healthy organ donors to save lives, especially in pediatrics.
There's a good story here about what it means for someone to give a gift of life to another person who would die without it. So organ donation is really just part of the human existence, and recognizing that we're all going to die, and when we do, we can donate our organs to help someone else live.
Each year, more than 30,000 Americans, adults and children, are diagnosed with leukemia or another life-threatening disease that can be treated with an organ or stem cell transplant. Stem cells are capable of maturing into all different types of cells in the body and can be collected from bone marrow or umbilical cord blood and used to treat different types of leukemia, lymphoma, and other cancers and blood diseases. It's a field of expertise that has grown exponentially in recent years.
When I started out, I think the expectation was that you might get a 70% one-year survival for a child who had a liver transplant. Our expectation now is that it's well above 90%, and of course our goal is that it would be 100% because we want every child to survive. Kidney transplant results have been excellent for a while, but it's really been a combination of better medication, more standardized treatment protocols, and better surgical understanding of what we need to achieve from a surgical point of view. When that all comes together, what we're really talking about is trying to restore normal lifespan with normal organ function.
Hanaya Ellis is in need of a bone marrow transplant to cure a disease which had destroyed her liver to the point where she wouldn't have survived without an organ transplant. It's a very complicated and unusual condition that requires well-coordinated and intensive care, which she found at the Nemours Alfred I. duPont Hospital for Children in Wilmington, Delaware.
She has a condition called erythropoietic protoporphyria, which belongs to a family of diseases called the porphyrias. And when I took over her care, she had end-stage liver disease, so she was jaundiced. She wasn't clotting normally, so that if she cut herself, she would bleed much more easily.
All Hanaya's problems can be traced back to a single gene defect in one of the cells generating all the bone marrow precursors, including her red blood cells. And by replacing her bone marrow with new stem cells derived from somebody else, we'll be able to, in essence, correct that defect, correct the effect of that on her body.
My concern was just that she would be isolated from other children. Her disease prevents her from being outside in sunlight, which prevents her from doing all the things that she really loves. So, at the end of this whole thing, I'm hoping that she will be able to go outside and play and enjoy life, as she did previously before we found out what the illness was.
From the time we saw this little girl, we knew that she needed two things. She needed a liver transplant because her liver was failing from all of the damage done from the iron deposition. But she also needed a bone marrow transplant because her red blood cells are abnormal. And with a bone marrow, she gets normal red cell production. They don't break down excessively. She won't release excess iron, and she won't damage her new liver. So at this point, really where we are is we're midway through this. We've got a new liver in that's working beautifully. We have some evidence that it's starting to build up iron. We are searching for a bone marrow donor for her that would be a good match. Now this is where the importance of minority donation comes in. Minorities, any kind of ethnic group, have better matches for people within their own group. The more people we have who are donating from each group, the more likely we are to find a match. You can be a bone marrow donor without having to give up time off work or having a lot of pain, and you can save this girl's life by donating bone marrow that would be a good match for her. The better the match with the marrow, the more likely she will benefit from the transplant and survive it. We have to put them through a lot to get them through a bone marrow transplant. So this little girl's most desperate need right now is a bone marrow transplant, and we have been searching worldwide for months to get a good enough match for her that we can proceed with that transplant.
There's been a magnificent change in her personality-wise. She's back to her old self. bubbly, running, jumping, playing. And we saw that almost immediately following transplant. She was trying to get out of bed hours after transplant. So that feisty Hanaya was right back into play almost instantly.
I wanted to say thank you because y'all was helping me get better, and I feel like myself.
Blood and bone marrow transplantation surgeons must use a multidisciplinary approach to address all of a child's needs, especially involving the parents in the care and healing process of the child.
Parents are crucial. They're the ones who really give the medications, bring the children back for follow-up. They're the ones who make the decisions about how far to go and what you do. They're the ones who create a safe environment for their child. So we evaluate the parents with the child when we look at where we're headed, and we're very careful to give them the support they need because we know that they carry a big part of the burden for this.
You have to participate 100%, ask lots of questions, anything that you don't understand, ask, they're available to answer them. If they don't know, they'll find out. Just 100% team effort, but parental participation is 100% needed for your child to get better.
Hopefully, at the end of the day, her transplanted liver will be fine. And as Hanaya wants, she not only wants to go to the beach, she also wants to be a fine Paris fashion model. So in order to do that, you're exposed to bright light. So with the bone marrow transplant, it'll correct the underlying defect, and she'll be able to do all those things that she's wanted to for so long.
Once a bone marrow match is found, Hanaya hopes to be a healthy, active child again. But like thousands of other children in need of such treatment, the cure depends on others willing to donate organs. For more than 65 years, the Nemours Alfred I. DuPont Hospital for Children has put the child first in all aspects of its operation, serving thousands of children from across the nation and around the world on its 300-acre estate outside of Wilmington, Delaware. DuPont Hospital is a center of renowned specialists who treat the child, not just the condition.
I think the specific mission initially was to serve the needs of children who had disabilities and orthopedic problems, but that has expanded to a full-service children's hospital in multiple states, and I think the vision is to become one of the most important providers of excellent pediatric care in the United States.
With physicians and surgeons in nearly every pediatric subspecialty, the 200-bed hospital now offers all specialties of pediatric medicine, surgery, and dentistry in a family-focused environment, from neurosurgery to blood and bone marrow transplantation.
Well, the transplant team is really a team. You have individuals who sort out whether a patient really would benefit from a transplant, and they're typically hepatologists and pediatricians. Then you have a group that does the surgery itself, and then you have the patient care afterwards to really get the benefits of that organ replacement over the course of a lifespan, trying to restore normal health. So it really takes a team to do that.
The DuPont Hospital for Children has remained faithful to the DuPont family's original mission of treating sick and disabled children, but doing so in a different era of cutting-edge technology. For more information, visit nemours.org.